Good evening, late afternoon, whatever you want to call it, everyone. Welcome to the Pathways to Careers presentation here. We're so thrilled. We've got a great panelist here, a group of panelists, and we're going to kind of go across. I'm just going to call on you based on the squares that I see in front of me right now. I am Dave Freund from MACNY, and Dave Lloyd, let's start with you. Just give us a brief description of who you are, what you do, and where you work.
I'm Dave Lloyd. I'm the plant training leader at Novelis Corporation in Oswego, New York. We're an aluminum manufacturer. My role there is to oversee all of the training and development that goes on for all of our employees, as well as I spend a good portion of my time doing these types of awareness type events to help people understand all the opportunities in manufacturing and pathways to get there.
Thanks, Stephen. Just for our audience's benefit, the aluminum that you make, where does it go?
It goes towards automotive industry. The Ford F-150 is a big deal for us. Building products, beverage containers, and we just completed a purchase of another competitor. We're getting into the aerospace business now as well.
Awesome. Great. What percentage of the F-150 aluminum comes from Novelis? Ballpark.
That's pretty much the entire body and many of the components inside. There's a whole bunch of parts that wide ranges of gauge of aluminum that contribute to it.
Thank you. I don't think people realize when they see an F-150 drive by, that aluminum came from Novelis up in Oswego. So
our plant and a few of our other plants around the country.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Greg Hilton, you're up next.
Good evening. My name is Greg Hilton. I'm the engineering and maintenance manager at Huhtamaki in Fulton, New York. We manufacture a variety of paperboard packaging, some products, frozen dairy dessert, products like the Ben & Jerry's ice cream containers, Turkey Hill, and a variety of food service packaging as well.
Great. Thanks, Greg. I'm glad you also talked about where your packaging is, because if we ate the ice cream, right, it's coming from Huhtamaki. Thank you. Derek, you're up next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Dorsey. I'm the executive director of the Central New York School Board Association. And really quick, David, as part of my introduction, I would like to thank our corporate sponsor of C&S Companies, JT and his staff there, along with Sharon, Michael, and JD. We really appreciate your support, along with our partner, MACNY, a Manufacturing Association of Central New York. I would like to thank all of our panelists for giving your time and your story this evening as well. And I would also like to thank the subcommittee, and that's Lori, Renee, Eileen, Martha, and I'm forgetting one more, and Kathy. And for the viewers this evening, if you could please just use the chat, the Q&A instead of the chat this evening, so that we could actually memorialize your questions and get those answered and back to you. And thanks again for joining us this evening for our Pathways to Careers Part 2.
Thanks, Derek. And Colleen, you're up next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colleen Vigiano, and I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Onondaga Cortland Madison BOCES. And my role is to support the educational goals of students from kindergarten through adulthood. I think probably most relevant for the conversation tonight, I'm responsible for our career and technical education programs for students who are interested in exploring and learning about the career fields. We also have embedded programs, career and tech programs in businesses like Lockheed Martin, WCNY, and other companies to give students the opportunity to really explore the careers that they might be interested in pursuing beyond high school.
Terrific. Thanks, Colleen. And Stephanie, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Main. I am one of the HR managers here at TTM Technologies. We were formerly Anaren Microwave before we were purchased a few years ago with TTM. So I am, like I said, an HR manager, so looking for talent for all of our manufacturing as well as engineering departments here at TTM. I almost said Anaren. We still say Anaren. It's hard not to.
Sure. Thanks, Stephanie. And Paul, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Paul Wiesner. I work for Bausch & Lomb as the training coordinator. Between John Shar and myself, we are running the apprenticeship program. As of now, we have 6 apprentices, and this is all kind of new to us, so we're learning as we go, and MACNY has been a great help to help us figure out a lot along the way. So anything that we can do to help out with any questions, we're more than happy to do so.
Great. Thanks, Paul. The next square I'm going to go to has Alara and John. So Alara, why don't you go first, and then John can introduce himself second.
Hi, my name is Alara Powell. I'm apprentice, electromechanical technician here at school. I'm an adult student, 2.5 more classes to finish my degree, as well as the apprenticeship here.
Great. Thank you so much. And John, how about you?
Hi, my name's John Shar. I'm the plant maintenance supervisor for the group of folks and technicians that cover our floor. We run a 24/7 operation, making a variety of contact lenses, and we're excited to be part of this program. We're really putting a focused effort on putting forth and putting out some valuable information and training our folks so that when they're done with our program, we have full-fledged apprentices hitting the floor running.
Great. Thanks, John. And Heather, you're next in my Brady Bunch square set here. So.
Okay, good evening. I'm Heather Arces, and I'm a high school counselor at Marcellus High School, and I've been a counselor there for 15 years.
Great. Thanks, Heather. And now we're going to Travis and Amari. So Travis, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Amari.
Hi, my name is Travis, and I'm a P-Tech alum. I've been graduated for a year now. Not for a year. I've been graduated for a few months, actually.
Thank you.
My name is Amari Gary. I'm also a P-Tech alum. I graduated in May of last year.
Great. And where do the two of you work?
TTM Technologies.
TTM. Thank you. And last but not least, Bill.
Hi, my name's William. I am also a P-Tech alumni. I've been at Anaren, well, TTM, I should say, for about a year and 5 months.
Okay, super. Thank you. So the goal of tonight is to just kind of share with those that are not aware of it what we're talking about when we talk about pathways, and these are pathways to careers. So I think the best way for us to do it is kind of start with our P-Tech students, and then kind of work our way to our apprentice, and then back into the companies themselves. So I guess I'm going to start with you, William. Talk about your journey through the P-Tech program. What was it like?
Well, it was actually, I enjoyed the journey. I learned a lot from the beginning. From the start, it taught me a lot of life skills and values as a person and for my future as an adult. First, you learned how to actually build a resume, go to interviews starting from freshman year. You get more hands-on experience along with the P-Tech program for hands-on learners. And a lot of opportunities come also out of it when you graduate, like finding a job. For instance, I found my job at TTM when I graduated from the P-Tech program just last year, 2019.
Okay, thank you. And then now we'll kind of transition over to Travis and Amari. So, and you guys can decide who wants to answer this first, but how did you get into the P-Tech program?
When I first found out about the P-Tech program, I'd already wanted to be an engineer. So when they told me that there was a program where you can get a degree for engineering, I was like, okay, sign me up. And that's what I kind of did when I first heard about it. I was in middle school. So that was, oh man, 8th grade, I think, yeah. Right at the end of the middle school, yeah.
Yeah, I was also in middle school. So like right before the end of my 8th grade year, P-Tech sent out someone to tell us about the program. And the 4 years of high school, 1 year of college to get an associate's degree. It was, especially in a field that I was already leaning towards. It was just an easy choice.
Okay, and did you guys have to do anything different or special to get into it? William, you can answer this too as a P-TECH student, a graduate of the P-TECH program. What did you have to do to get into the program?
Pretty much to get into the program, you had to go to the career fair and fill an application pretty much, and then do an interview.
Okay. For Travis and Amari, anything you want to add to that?
We didn't do an interview. I didn't do an interview. When my year at least was a raffle. So basically you applied and then students were randomly picked. But I believe the year after us, they started doing, but if you did an interview, it's kind of.
No, I did one. So for me, it was, we applied to the program and there was only 50 spots because it was the first year they were doing it. So
okay.
you went into the school that was being held at, which was ITC, and you go in there. I met with the head of the programs, and then the principal, et cetera, a couple of the teachers, and then it was actually like the same day as my school semi-formal. So I was there like in a full suit, which is not me. But yeah, afterwards, they sent me my acceptance letter a couple weeks after that, and then it was all she wrote.
I would like to add too that pretty much the interview was just questions based on what you enjoy doing, what things you like doing for math, science, and it's just so they can get a feel, so they can just get a feel for what you are as a person and what you like to do.
Thank you. And so let's talk about the program a little bit. What grade does it start? So it sounds like, Travis, it sounds like you heard about it in 8th grade. So does it start in 9th grade? Or when does it start?
Yeah, it starts in high school. So it starts 9th grade.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they do recruitment 8th grade. They send you out, tell people, and then from there, they just select students that go into the program. So it actually starts the summer before 9th grade.
Okay.
Summer program. I mean, the summer programs are always nice. I mean, I met my best friend at the summer program the first year.
Thank you. And so explain for us, what is a typical day for a P-TECH student like? And so why would P-TECH be different than just going through your regular 4 years of high school?
Depends on the year.
So for instance, the freshman year, you take your normal high school classes, and depending on what math you came into with, it depends on what math class you're placed in. It could be either algebra 1 or geometry freshman year, but other than that, and then you don't really take your first college class until sophomore year, I want to say, and which is 10th grade, and you actually take that at the high school itself. And then you don't start going up to campus until you're about, I want to say 11th grade. Amari, you can correct me, and Travis, if you want, I'm not really, but I'm sure of the dates, but and that's only one class really a semester, and it's a spring and fall and spring semester. And then your senior year, you're up there, you take 2 or 3 classes at the high school, but majority of the morning from whenever your first college class begins to your last college class, you're up there half the day, and then you spend the other half of your day back at the high school itself doing your high school classes.
Great, thank you. Travis and Amari, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so like you said, so 9th grade starts off, it's pretty much a regular high school start. You know, you got your 1 college course, it's just a college credit at the school. Sophomore year, you'll get your first class where towards the end of your sophomore year, like right after the end of it, before school starts, you'll have your first college class start. So you'll have to start going to school earlier than everyone else. And then 11th grade, you're pretty much acclimated to the campus. So you're going to be up there a lot, not like the entire day. So I'd say about half your time is going to get spent there. And then senior year, I only really remember being at the high school for like health and gym. And then when the semester's off, this is a great selling point, honestly. The only 2 classes you have are going to be gym and health pretty much if the semester's not on. So
Thank you. So help me. I think I have this right. So the P-TECH program, you are you're recruited, or you have a chance to hear about it more and more as you get into 8th grade. You apply for it, or get interviewed for it, or it's part of a raffle, depending on what they're doing at any given time, perhaps. And then it actually is a blend of your regular classes, then your technical kind of training, and OCC classes.
Correct.
And so how long does it take for you to graduate from the full P-TECH program?
So it actually would depend on you. It could be a 5-year program or a 6-year program, depending on where you are as when you come in.
Okay.
Because I know some people, and depending on how you did at OCC too, your final semester or your senior, it just depended on how you did. You would end up being there for an extra, after you graduate the 4 years from high school, you can be at OCC for 2 more years. It just depends. Some will be only 1 full year left at OCC, 2 semesters. It just depends on where you are with the course.
Okay, thank you. So depending on where you are in terms of your classes when you enter into the P-TECH program, it could be 5 years where your last year is just at OCC and you finish with an associate's, or it could be a 2 full years.
Yes.
Okay, great. So how much?
Or some people could finish, though, I believe, to the 5.5, because I've known one person that finished 5.5. So you could finish.
Okay.
Just
great.
depends on where you are.
Thanks, William. So how much out-of-pocket expense did you have for this?
None, for me at least.
Besides feeding yourself at OCC if you're hungry, there's no.
This is when all the parents that are joined with their students are like cheering and saying, "Hey, how do we do this?" So Heather, maybe you can answer this. So what students are eligible for a P-TECH program? Is it just City of Syracuse students?
I believe right now, yes, it is just the City of Syracuse. I want to say it's based on your school size and how many kids can be enrolled in it. So yes, I believe right now it's just the city.
Okay, thanks. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I thought that's what I thought, but I didn't want to say something incorrectly. Okay, so thanks. So now I want to kind of transition from the P-TECH to the apprenticeship. So Alara, how did you get into an apprenticeship?
Obviously, I'm an adult student, and my bosses at my previous job had been really pushing me to advance. So we looked around for a program that would work for me. So I went with the instrumentation and control program at FLCC. And while I was there, there was a presentation from Bausch Health about the electromechanical technician program. And as soon as I saw the journeyman title on there, I was like, oh, whoa, this is way too interesting. So I reached out to my contacts to find out more about the company and the program itself. And I got some really, really good feedback. So by the time Travis came to do the presentation, I was prepared with my resume. We did a mini interview. They called me back to do an official interview, because this is actually a paid position that you're working while you're earning your journeyman certification. So obviously I made it into the program. I was hired on full-time by the company actually last month. So I also have benefits as well as I'm going through my work environment.
Terrific. So tell us, what's it, we hear this term apprentice, but unless you're closer to my age, you may not even know what that means. So what does it mean to be an apprentice?
Okay, well, the fun bit is that for me is that you come in with the skills that you already have, and you kind of take a look at what skills you've got, and then you say, how can we build on this? So they're not expecting you to come in and just be, a world-class technician immediately, that you can walk up to any machine and fix it. The whole point is that you're learning, and all of us apprentices we have our areas where we really have gaps of knowledge, where we need to work on getting better at. We also have skills that we bring to the table that are pretty cool for the company as well. So it's a really nice balance of being able to use what you know and learning new stuff every day.
Thank you. So, is your day just out learning how to fix machines? Do you ever have to take any classes?
Well, I am still a student in the Instrumentation and Control Technologies program at FLCC. I'm going to finish that degree.
Okay.
So I have those classes, and they're very, very flexible about working around my schedule.
Great.
So actually, if I'm scheduled to work, and this was a huge selling point for me on this program, if I'm scheduled to work and I have class, I'm paid for that time. So
Right.
huge selling point. So there's that, and especially with online classes, I can just take them here while I'm, on the clock and just be like, hey guys, I'm in class right now. The other thing is with the MACNY program with the New York State Apprenticeship, because this is a New York State Journeyman certification, we also have a utility called Tooling U, where we go through and we can take classes on how to do electrical work, how to do inspection. Right now I'm in the middle of calibration classes. So it's as you have time to go and do them, it's a priority. So it's not, hey guys, I really, really need to do this. I'm behind on this. No, it's more of a, hey guys, this is what I'm doing right now. And they understand, and you don't take calls right then.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much. I do want to update the audience here and I want to thank Donna Blake for this input. Oswego City BOCES also offers P-TECH. So that's great to know. So Alara, you're getting paid to learn. Did I hear you right?
Yes, you did. And I'm getting paid a living wage to learn.
And the classes that you need to take for your apprenticeship, who pays for those?
Okay, well, there's two types of classes that I take. The Tooling U classes that I take are completely paid for by the company, the apprenticeship, whatever, no out of pocket at all.
Yep.
The schooling that I do is reimbursed by the company as long as I get a good grade in there.
Thank you. Yeah, so and maybe I'll just since we only have one apprentice that's on the call today, maybe I'll jump in here because lo and behold, I was an apprentice at one time. I served a 4-year apprenticeship for Tool and Die, and the crazy thing for me was I was getting paid to learn. My classes were in the evening, so the company didn't pay me to go to school, but they did pay for the classes, provided I passed the class. So I ended up getting my journeyman's papers after 4 years of, training, and never paid a penny for a class.
And the skill sets that we get to work with here at Bausch, I mean, we're talking, I already have people to ask any questions that I come up with. I'm working with guys who understand that maybe in some things, I don't have an electrical background. So I'm working with electrical journeymen. But I'm okay on mechanical stuff. So, I'm okay to handle that by myself, that kind of thing. And pretty much anything they throw at me computer-wise, I can handle.
Very
because
good.
I have a 13-year background in IT.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a big help.
Well, you asked at the very beginning, why did I choose this program? And the point was that I was getting very, very tired of cubicle beige.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah, you're out there, you're doing things, you're active, every day is different because you never know what you're going to need to work on next.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you. So I think what I'd like to do now is, Stephanie, if I can just ask you a few questions from the standpoint of you brought these folks in that are graduates of the P-TECH program.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you select them?
So we are, first of all, they're smart. And it was a great program, and they came in with a lot of foundational knowledge that we need for our positions. They really are, we really look for people here who are great team members and want to learn and are curious and excited about what they do. And we primarily focus here on electrical and mechanical, focuses. So they fit those as well. and they were a great fit culture wise, here at TTM.
Great. Do you get a sense that students that go through a program like the P-TECH program, do they have a leg up on other students that maybe just went through the traditional path?
Say so. I think what impresses us is how early they start. They're motivated. They've done the work that a lot of high school students haven't done, and like Amari said, they make decisions early on that this is really the direction that they want to go. So they come in here with skills that other people may not have because of what they've done already. So for sure.
Terrific. Thank you. And maybe for Travis, Amari, and William, what was the spark that drew your interest? I know, Travis, you said that you always wanted to go into engineering. Why? What was the spark that got you interested in it?
I've always been interested in like building things and like taking things apart and stuff like that. It's kind of like the trope of like engineering kids. They want to take stuff apart and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I was always doing.
Okay, great. Amari, how about you?
As a child, I was obsessed with cars, and again, to the building things and taking them apart. I had a lot of Lego figure cars, so that's just where it started.
Lego definitely helps.
Lego is awesome.
Building blocks for engineering.
I have a 36-year-old son, and for his birthday a couple weeks ago, his wife and his kids bought him a Lego model of the LEM, the lunar module that landed on the moon. So, and it sits next to his Saturn V rocket. Just saying, Legos are great. It's great therapy. William, how about you? What was your spark?
Well, mine was back when I was in 6th grade, actually. I was working on the Soapbox Derby car with my 6th grade class, and I was so fascinated with the blueprint readings and all the gears and pulleys that went into putting this car together.
Sure.
And so ever since then, I knew that's what I wanted to do. In middle school, I got involved in the Mousetrap and robotics club and everything else. So then I just knew from the start, and that's what I was so passionate about, mechanics and mechanical.
Super. Thank you so much. I love that. So really, for the parents that are here joining with their kids, find what your kids are passionate about. Are they playing with Legos? Did they play with Legos? Do they, where's their interest? And if you follow their passion, you're going to find a career. You really will. Now I'd like to talk to Paul and John. I think one of you mentioned you may have 6 apprentices at Bausch and Lomb. So, what apprentice program are you folks offering right
now? I'm sorry. Well, yeah, we have 6 apprentices.
Yep.
And we are, like I said, this program is kind of new to us, so we're learning as we go. But like Alara says, we're making good strides here, and we want to make it a respectable apprenticeship program here. And we're always looking for, like you said, people that have a passion for fixing things and trying to tear something apart and put it back together. That's kind of what we're looking for in an apprentice.
Okay.
And we have right now we are building here. We're expanding. We're going to have to hire like 20 more people in the next couple of years, and we want to build kind of through the apprenticeship program. And so trying to get young people to have a passion for this type of work is, everybody kind of knows it's kind of tough, because when I went to high school, we had shop class, and so we'd go through different classes, and I knew what I was going to do because I aced all my shop classes, but I wasn't very good in math or so I knew I was going to do something with my hands. So just getting young people interested in this type of work and wanting to do it, especially like the programs that we just heard about are fantastic, because it sounds like they are getting these young people involved in.
Sure.
So
Thanks, Paul.
I hope that answered your question.
Thanks, Paul. John, do you want to add anything about, the value of apprentices and what they're able to do for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, just adding on to what Paul said, we're very, very passionate about bringing new people in. We have actually another pending issue is that Paul and I have been doing this for 30 plus years each, and we have a lot of pending retirements. And when that skill set leaves, that leaves a big gap. And so that's why we are so focused on trying to bring in new people and give them a lot of opportunities, and putting in a lot of effort into training them and making sure that they're well versed in doing mechanical repairs, electrical, hydraulics, pneumatics, and our program covers all of those areas.
Don't forget the robotics.
And we have a lot of robots, and the new lines that actually interests a lot of people. Thank you, Alara. The new lines we have coming in, each of the production lines will have 15 robots each on those lines, and we make sure that we get the proper training for all of the folks that will be responsible for repairing those machines.
Terrific. Thank you. I also want to thank Kathy Birmingham, who chimed in for us at Auburn High School, and I should have remembered this. Auburn High School has a PTech program for both mechanical or electrical technology. So we've got the City of Syracuse, we got City BOCES, and we also have Auburn. I can't believe I forgot that, but Auburn. And the programs are either mechanical tech or electrical technology. So now I want to jump up to Dave Lloyd and Greg Hilton. So what kinds of skill sets are you folks looking for? Greg, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I can start off. So within our organization, we are a high-speed automated manufacturing process for paperboard products. So we're looking for the advanced manufacturing students that are graduating out of these PTech programs, as well as from our City BOCES or other technical programs that have both electrical, mechanical, electromechanical, automation experience, those types of skill sets. Most of our equipment requires a higher level of knowledge and skill to operate. You're interfacing with various machine interfaces. You've got to be able to keep up with the process as well, because like I said, it's high speed in most cases. A lot of integrated data collection and monitoring and that type of stuff. We've had a continuous, I think we've been one of the original founders or participants with the Otsego County PTech program, both Novelis and Huhtamaki, but we've been cultivating that program, and now we're starting to see the fruits of that with having PTech students here as interns, job shadowing, and here in the next year, we'll see some of those PTech students graduating and hopefully joining our business here in Fulton. We also utilize students or recruit students out of the CTE programs at City BOCES in Otsego County, along the same types of skill sets. We're looking for electromechanical and hands-on type students to fill maintenance roles, quality engineering or quality auditor roles, as well as machine operator roles.
Great. Thanks, Greg. Dave, can you add to that?
Yeah, I won't repeat what Greg said because we both, we've basically been working together as competing companies since the beginning of the Oswego PTech program. But just about everything that Greg said that they're looking for, we're looking for the same thing. When you look at the world of, how is manufacturing changed over the years, we're also high speed, high demand, all kinds of automation. We're, looking for mechanical, electrical, automation technicians and engineers, just about everything you can imagine we're looking for. When you start talking about skill sets, I'm going to play off some of the things I've already heard panelists say. I think it was William that said something about learning the life skills or assessing the life skills. And part of what our experience has been is the need for people to come in with, now it's called professional skills. It used to be called soft skills, touchy-feely skills, all that other type of stuff. But, we can train people to do most anything. But for people to have the drive, the dependability, the accountability, the ability to communicate with people, the ability to solve problems without getting into a fight, the ability to work together. We're a very team-based organization. We've got some supervisors and so on that, manage the organization, but a lot of what we do, the folks come in, whether they're on day shift, night shift, weekends or whatever, there's a game plan out there and they make it work. Sometimes they have to change the plan on the fly, and that's up to our employees, our shop floor folks, to be able to do those types of things. Similar to what Paul and John were referring to, we also are facing that, retirement boom. There's an awful lot of people that have been retired, and where are we going to get them? And, for a few years, the perception was manufacturing all went overseas. Well, if it did go overseas, it's back, and it's back in spades. And, people, I think it was also mentioned, back in the day when I went to high school, I went to shop class. I learned woodworking, I learned metalworking, I learned all that stuff, and that we got away from that. And now it's that rebirth of the whole process. So much of what's been said already is really what we're looking for. When we interview kids, whether it's P-Tech program or whatever, we want to know what they like to do. My wife and I raised our two kids. Yeah, we wanted our kids to be doctors and dentists too. Well, neither one of them finished that path, but they both landed in things they love to do. And part of my job is career advisement. And one of the things I always tell people is, if there's something you love to do, there's a way to get paid to do it.
Right. Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Colleen, I want to tap into your expertise for a minute. I think Greg talked about CTE programs. So can you, what's a CTE program?
Thanks, David. So career and technical education programs are programs that students come to as juniors and seniors in high school, and they come for a half a day, and they have the opportunity to really focus on a particular career path. So we have a full range of programs, just like other BOCES do. So we have everything from lab technology to auto technology to cosmetology to early childhood education. And students spend a half a day every day, their junior and senior year, and dive into that career field and do a lot of hands-on learning. And most recently, over the past probably 7 years, we've started a new model of career and technical education where we actually locate our classroom in a business. And I think that has taken it to a whole nother level. So we have a program at Drivers Village for auto technology. And if you talk to the manager there, David Hall, he'll tell you that it's the best recruitment they do as a business is have our program located in their business, because they basically get a chance every single day to see our students working. We have a BOCES teacher there, but they're going out side by side in the business and practicing those skills that Dave was talking about as far as professional skills, working on it as a team, learning the technical skills, and earning college credits. So a little bit different than a P-Tech program, but certainly I think the BOCES of old had an image that you went to BOCES and you did a trade, and that meant you were never going to go to college. I think it's important for people to know that about 50% of our students go to college after attending career and tech ed programs to get even further education in their career field. And some go right to work, and the company will pay for their certifications from BMW or for different options like that. So we're really kind of proud of the array of offerings that we have. And we just started this year a program at Tracy Road, which is a trucking, heavy equipment repair and operations business. And just like people are saying, their workforce is aging out. And so by having this classroom in their business, they're grooming folks that can work for their company and giving our students amazing experiences at the same time.
Thanks, Colleen. That's great. Heather, maybe you can help us with this one. So if a student was interested, or their parents were interested in them becoming interested in finding out about a CTE program, How would they go about doing that?
Well, they could definitely reach out to their school counselor if they were interested for more information. But we actually have the school counselor that works at our OCM BOCES, and she comes and visits Marcellus, and she speaks to all our sophomores in the spring, and she tells them about all these programs. And then our students have the option to let us know if they're interested, and then we send them out on a visit so they can go out and see the program firsthand, meet the students that are in the program, talk to the teacher, and then they come back and they let us know, what they thought about it, and then we can get them set up for the following year, their junior year, and then senior year, like Colleen mentioned.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question that was posed for us here is, and I guess our manufacturers, our business folks will have to answer this one. So we have a student who might be a senior in high school, and they didn't get a chance to take part in P-TECH. They weren't in one of the P-TECH regions, and maybe they didn't know about the CTE program. How could they get involved in a job in manufacturing? Alara, you can go first, and then Stephanie.
Okay. The apprenticeship is geared towards adult people who would like to be able to earn a living while they're learning their next living and get the college as well.
Sure.
It's a 4-year program. It's 8,000 hours. At the end of it, you walk out with at least your associate's degree, and you have your New York State journeyman certification as an electromechanical technician, just basically telling any future employer, if you don't stay here at the company that you're working with, which in my case is Bausch Health, it's saying they have these skills, go for it.
Great, thank you. Stephanie, want to add to that?
Sure. So we've had high school students who have graduated and maybe didn't have an opportunity to partake in a program like this, but have an interest in manufacturing and exploring, engineering or manufacturing. And we are able to start them out at a level that you don't need to know anything about engineering or manufacturing to take that first step in the door. So you could even come in as an assembler and equipment operator, and basically, and we've had many people start from, step one and then grow, and you have an opportunity to explore different paths within the building. We are one of the companies that does have a tuition reimbursement program. So if it's something that you found you have a passion for, whether it's on the mechanical or the electrical side, or even production planning, more on the business end of things, we will pay for you to eventually do that. And I always tell people there is no right path to take. It doesn't have to be high school to college to career. We have many people who do high school to career to college, maybe back to career, explore some things. Everybody's path is individual, but I think many of these companies, I'm sure, have different opportunities along the way to be exposed to different pathways, and we will support that, whichever way.
Sure. And Stephanie, since you're already unmuted, I'll ask you this next question. What would you consider to be the most essential skills for someone coming out of high school?
I would just say an openness to learn every day, coming in and being reliable, putting your best foot forward every day, and being someone who asks questions. So if you run out of work and you're bored, to ask, somebody if there's something else that you can learn or do or watch. Those are the people that we definitely see get noticed around here, because you're always looking for something else to do, and you're curious as to how this works, and you can cross train in different areas, and just working as a team and we have a lot of goals that we're trying to reach here as a company. And so anyone who wants to roll up their sleeves and never says, this isn't my job, those are the people that we want.
Right. Very good. I like that. We don't want people that say it's not my job.
Correct.
We're looking for people that says, hey, can I help?
Yes. Yeah.
Just that, it's interesting that I see this question a lot. What are those key employability skills? And it really are the things that we learned in kindergarten. It was how to play well with others.
Very true.
Get along, show up every day, and be open-minded. I love that. For our other manufacturers, how many of you offer tuition reimbursement programs?
I could speak to that. We offer a tuition reimbursement program at Novellus, and I would echo what Stephanie said. For people who didn't get into the technical training during their high school career, we have like a temp agency that we put some of our entry level jobs into that. People will apply into our temp agency, just, if it's even fork truck operation or, material movement. And, our employees are the ones that come to us in HR and say, don't lose this one, or how did this one get in? A lot of times it's our employees, and it's all really about how well they're working with other people. Are they making things happen? But once they get into our program, the tuition reimbursement program, we've got a lot of folks that have started out as operators, and we've paid for them to become mechanics, electricians. We've paid for some people to get a full engineering degree, a 4-year engineering degree, working for us. It's a sacrifice on their part because they're working and they're going to school at the same time. But there's a lot of ways to get there, and some people don't figure what they really want to do until they're out there trying things.
Exactly. Thank you. And it may take them longer to get that 4-year degree, but they have no debt when they're done. And not only do they not have debt when they're done, but they got paid while they were going to school. That's the key part. Greg, how about you? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we have a education reimbursement program as well. One thing I would emphasize is that we hired quite a few people, or have hired quite a few people at entry level, where through the years they've worked their way up into other jobs that they were interested in and further their education, and now our department managers, senior management, or even relocated to other sister plants, with other job promotions and other opportunities. So for us, for Huhtamaki, we've got 17 manufacturing facilities across North America and 70 manufacturing facilities across the world. So there's a lot of different opportunities for students or for folks that want to get into a specific career, just by starting out with the company and then working your way up through and capitalizing on the opportunities and the programs that the company has available.
Great, thank you. And Heather, I want you to think about something, because I'm going to come to you with a question, but I want you to think about what can we as MACNY, what can we as manufacturers do to help you get the information to your students?
Okay.
There is a question here that someone asked: how do we establish a P-TECH program in their area? Does anybody have an answer to that? Because I think you're going to have to get involved with state ed or something. I'm not sure, but
no. Well, I think maybe it's I remember talking about the P-TECH program with a representative at Onondaga Community College. So there may be somebody there on campus that works with the schools in the city, the bigger cities, that can get that program started.
Okay, great, thanks.
Start there, they would at least be able to give them, some suggestions.
Thank you. Colleen, did you want to add something to that?
I was just going to say that's, people can apply for, there's different rounds of funding to get accepted as a P-TECH grant. And then that's how it gets going, and it's supplemented by the state.
Sure. Thank you so much. And Colleen.
Dave, could I add something to that?
Sure, go ahead.
We went through the first time when Greg and I were involved in Oswego. We didn't get it. We failed, basically. We put in a poor application. If someone's thinking about it, they should reach out to the P-TECH organizations that are already in place and sit with the leaders and find out, what did you do that worked and what didn't work. That goes a long way, rather than trying to reinvent your own wheel.
Sure. Thanks, Dave. That's a great point. Colleen, somebody asked the question, will student visits to BOCES still be available in our current COVID environment?
That's a great question. And what we know is it's really important for our students to have the opportunity to experience our programs. We're still working through that right now. So at this point, what we've committed to doing is presentations in the districts. Because in that case, it's just, as Heather was saying, our counselor, one person coming into a district and sharing information with students and sharing videos that show what it looks like. We're still trying to figure out what the safest and best thing is to do for visits. So unfortunately, I don't have a clear-cut answer on that for you.
Okay, thank you. And I want to encourage folks, stay connected to School Boards Association, CNY School Boards Association. Some of the things that are going to be happening, and it's already out through MACNY's workforce side, PEB, that there are videos, short videos. You do what for a living? I think there's 4 or 5 of those that are going to be released or have been released already. I know MACNY is looking at virtual tours of manufacturing sites. Where how we're going to do that, I don't know. I leave that to other people. There is a question, and I don't know if anybody of MACNY's workforce side is on here, but how many apprenticeships is MACNY facilitating now? Does anybody know? I think it's something like 5 or 6, but I could be wrong. If there's somebody that's here, if they can just kind of post it in the chat. I do have a question. So Heather, what can we do to help you? Because everybody says, well, all the people want to do is push kids toward college. And I know that there may be some of that still, but a lot of that is going away because in a time when there's high unemployment, manufacturers have need of people. So what can we do to help you?
Yes, and they're definitely, every student is unique in their own way and have their own ideas of what their plans are for the future. So we really meet the students where they're at and discuss a lot of different opportunities that they can have for them after high school. So, but I think reaching out to the high school counselors, which you can go to a district's website and find their counseling office, email them. A lot of schools have career centers. I know Marcellus has a career center. West Genesee has one. So there's several districts that actually have a career center. It's usually within the counseling office. So you definitely would want to, contact that person and let them know, what you have to offer. And I think districts still do have those shop classes. Like we have shop classes at Marcellus. We have a lot of students that are interested in those classes. We just did a capital project and our shop class is amazing. It has, all the state-of-the-art equipment. So even maybe getting in touch with, and you can do this through the counseling office, like that instructor for those shop classes, and maybe coming out to the districts and visiting the classrooms. And I know it's hard right now because of all the COVID restrictions and allowing visitors into our building. But even if you were to visit, the shop classes and talk to those students that are in those classes about opportunities that you could offer them. So, and you can, like I said, set those up through the counseling office.
Thank you. And I just want to, I have another follow-up to that I'm going to ask you in a minute. I do want to let folks know that if we don't answer your question, I know Renee is monitoring the questions and she may be able to get us an answer even if I can't. So Heather, let's say.
Dave, can I just add something to that from a student's perspective really quick?
Absolutely.
So honestly, I would say without the P-TECH program in general, or being around it, I wouldn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like, yes, there's a push to college for that program, but at the same time, I've known people that were in the P-TECH program that left the P-TECH program their senior year in high school to follow a different pathway.
Sure.
But they still gathered the life skills that the programs allowed and gave to them so they can continue on with an education somewhere else.
Thank you, William. That is a great point. I'm glad you interrupted me. It's super. Yeah. Thank you so much. Heather, let's say I'm a parent in a district and I'm not hearing from our guidance counselors anything other than college. How could I encourage my child to say to a guidance counselor to get additional options?
Well, I really hope that's not the case. I mean, we do try to share all the different opportunities. But if a student really isn't hearing about any other options after graduation besides, college, they just have to have a conversation with their school counselor about that and just say, I don't think college is right for me. And I'm wondering what other opportunities are available. And usually, if we know the student well and they've been, we've been in contact with them, sometimes, we can offer that up to them because we know that would be a good fit for them. So yeah, it's just a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to make sure also that those viewing this, we're not saying college is bad by any means. We're saying that there's different pathways to a career. I mentioned the fact that I served an apprenticeship and what I learned as I got older, because I'm probably the oldest person on this event tonight. What I learned when I had kids was that I had some learning disabilities, and that's why school was very difficult for me. I froze up on tests. I would have almost like a panic attack type of thing. And so I thought that there was something wrong with me. So I gravitated toward working with my hands, doing things that I loved. And interestingly enough, what I found was when I did graduate on time, and I passed all my courses. But what I found was that when I started taking apprentice courses because they were applied, I aced them. I learned differently. And now I know there's a lot more intervention with kids, and there's different ways for kids to be assessed so that they can get that sooner. But after I finished my apprenticeship, that's when I started taking some of those college courses. And so there is nothing that says you can't get the degree that you want, but why pay the tuition if you don't need to? And make sure when you're paying a tuition, it's in something that you really want to learn. And again, I never paid 1 penny for any of the courses that I took. So we got 4 minutes left, and I know there's a burning question that parents want to know. What kind of money can their kids make in manufacturing? So manufacturers, speak up.
Good money?
Good money. So Dave, what would be an average wage for someone that is finished an apprentice program of some sort?
I can speak to even the kids in our P-TECH program. We've got interns going through right now, graduating in May, and they're looking at starting out at about $65,000 a year, assuming they make the cut. It's competitive. Every single kid's not going to get the opportunity. It's competitive.
Okay.
That's starting base wage for mechanical or electrical tech in our area.
Thank you.
I would agree.
Okay. Greg, did you want to add something?
No, I would agree with Dave. I mean, they're going to be looking at, even at an operator level, close to 50,000, and they go up from there. We have senior operator levels, and we have folks that actually migrate from being operators into maintenance, which brings them even more earning opportunity.
Right. So we're talking, parents, we're talking good wages and no debt, and it goes up from there.
And Dave, if I could add to that, that's just
you.
We're not even talking about the benefits. We're not talking about the 401ks and the matching contributions and so on and so forth. I mean, realistically, if you put all of that in place, you're looking at 6 figures very early in your life.
I would just say, as a parent of 2 children in college, the fact that you guys also offer tuition reimbursement is unbelievable. So that's very impressive.
Yeah. And so I still got 2 minutes. I'm waiting for Derek to cut my cord, so to speak, so all of a sudden go silent. So the last question, are there really jobs? Because all I hear on the news is that unemployment in Central New York is like 12% or something. So Dave, how many openings does Novellus have? Ballpark.
I'm going to say right now, we're probably sitting at least 30 to 40 openings.
Okay, thank you. Greg, how about at Huhtamaki?
So this year's been much different. We have hired over 120 people this year, and we're still sitting on probably a dozen to 18 openings. So most of our hiring this year has been in production operator positions. We've probably hired half a dozen technical folks, and the majority of our openings are still technical. They're the hardest to fill.
All right, thank you. Stephanie, how about at TTM?
Anywhere between 20 and 30. And I know we have some new programs coming in the new year that they're already giving a heads up that we're going to be needing, a dozen more people for those programs as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Bausch and Lomb? Ballpark, how many openings do you think you have?
I said within the next 2 years, we'll have like 20 openings. And that doesn't even account for, we have 4 or 5 guys retiring in the next couple of years too. So
right.
We got to backfill all that too. So there's a lot of opportunities out there.
So everyone, and I don't think you folks that organized this picked only manufacturers that have openings. But
I just
I'm talking to some of our member companies that could take 30 people immediately.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Please do.
to Paul's point, that's just our department alone.
Thanks, Laura.
That's not the Rochester company. That's our department alone.
Thank you. There you go.
Okay.
Any fun? So Derek, I guess I'm 1 minute over. I got to land the plane.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you got to land a plane.
Thank you so much, folks. I transfer it back to you, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir. I would like to give a quick shout out to Renee Stone, who's been doing all the technical work in the background and getting out the emails and all of that to our panelists and to the folks that are registered and join us on this Pathways to Careers event. Thank you so much, Renee, for doing that for us and with us. Also, I have to give a big shout out to my friend, David Freud again. Excellent job in engaging a panel of 11 people in an hour. And basically you're like that referee in that big fight, right? You don't see the ref, right? Because you're actually watching the fight. And that makes for a good moderator or facilitator to keep everyone engaged and allowing them to share their story and their information. I think this was an outstanding event. Again, I want to give a thank you, a big thank you to CNS Companies and Sharon Sweeney, along with JD and his staff there. Again, we appreciate your support. The CNY SBA board, the MACNY team, we're affiliated with MACNY. And also the video is going to be available. We're going to have a quick turnover. So we're going to try to have it available within 24 hours for you guys. And thank you very much to all the participants for participating in this. And I have to say again, to the folks that helped put this together, the Pathways to Careers subcommittee with Martha and Renee and Lori, Kathy, and Eileen. We couldn't have done it without you. And everyone have a great evening. And to the panel again, thank you so much for sharing and taking time out of your busy schedule to give information and insights to the folks that wanted to listen. It's just that if we weren't in this new space, right, we would have 11 people sitting on a panel having a conversation with over 80 people sitting in the audience listening to your story. But we're able to do it from all different parts of this footprint called CNY SBA and MACNY. And thank you so much. Have a great evening and everyone be safe. Be well. Thank you.
We'll see y'all later.
Take care now.
Bye.
Thank you.